Oh my goodness, look at this kid. This kid can't play a lick. LeBron, I thought you told me he was ready. I thought you said he was ready to play in the NBA today. I got on a press conference and told the whole world that Bronny earned this and it wasn't given to him. You made a fool out of me, LeBron.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. On this Monday, you see the title of the video. I'm sure we've all seen the clip by now of Rob Pelinka's face sitting and watching Bronny James play basketball, if that's what you want to call it. Rob Pelinka looks like a man who has been deceived. He looks like a man who's been sold a bill of goods. He looks like a man who went out on a limb based on somebody's word and now is realizing the cold, hard truth unfold in front of his eyes. And that is Bronny James should not be in the NBA. Arguably, Bronny shouldn't have even been playing in college. So I've seen a few clips of Bronny playing in the summer league thing, and I really must say, not only does he clearly not belong compared to every other player out there, in my opinion, but I would argue, I'm starting to wonder if this was actually ever truly Bronny's dream to play in the NBA. I'm really starting to wonder that. And I'm really starting to think that this was all LeBron James. And this was all, basically LeBron making Bronny think that this was his dream. Because again, LeBron has been talking about this wanting to play with his son for years. And we all know that LeBron will do any and everything in his power to try to persuade, to sway public opinion in his favor about this whole GOAT debate. For some reason, he actually believes that he's truly in it. For some reason, and maybe he doesn't believe it. Maybe he actually knows that he's not in it, which is why, but he wants it. So this is why he's resorting to these tactics, just to, basically try to force people to see him as the GOAT. But, LeBron James loves praise. And yeah, I just really feel like this whole Bronny thing, I mean, to me, when I look at Bronny play, he doesn't look like someone who it was their dream to make it to the NBA. I mean, anybody could dream of making it to the NBA, right? I mean, those of us who grew up in the Jordan era, I'm sure all of us who played basketball, especially those of us who were playing on a daily basis, had thoughts or dreams of one day making it to the NBA. But, I feel like it's different when it's different when you're actually faced with the reality of the situation. And while there are a lot of people who may dream to get to the NBA, the reality of it is most people won't, because there are very few who are actually great enough to make it to the NBA. And Bronny just looks like I said, he doesn't look like he's in it out there. He doesn't look like I said, to me, he doesn't have that attack mentality. And the attack mentality is very important. I would go as far as to say that the attack mentality, normally people who have it also have a higher basketball IQ. And why do I say that? Because if you are in that mentality of constantly looking for ways to assert yourself, that requires a lot of thinking. So, just right off the back. Like, there are times when Bronny James should be cutting to the basket and he's just standing there. You know, there's times where he should be cutting to the basket and he's just standing there. And, you know, and I'm thinking, like, I can't figure it out. It's like, but I know what it is. It's like, it's that passiveness, you know. Unfortunately, he's inherited the worst parts of his father's game. And Bronny has an overabundance. So, you know, LeBron James is passive. LeBron James tries to do just enough work to get the praise, you know, without having to overexert himself. And he's always been like that. He's just gotten worse over the years. But Bronny, like I said, you know, it's a lot of times where he's standing and, you know, you think like, man, you have an opportunity to beat your man to the basket or something. But it's a lot of waiting. And, you know, I was watching a video. What's this guy? Awful Coaching, I believe. And he was talking about the fact that a lot of the times Bronny isn't even sprinting back on defense. Like, Bronny is kind of in his LeBron James jog back down the court. You know, and yeah, I mean, it's just looking bad. And it just made me think, you know, this is one of those situations like, I don't know, those of you who grew up in the church and know about singers in the church, and you have people, you know, in the church who tell you can sing. And then they get out in the real world and find out, yeah, no, people in the church are just being nice to you. You actually can't sing. And I feel like this is what happens to Bronny James. You know, I feel like Bronny has grown up in a circle. And again, he has some athleticism. So in the right circumstances, I'm sure he can look better than this. But, you know, he probably grew up in a circle of people just telling him he's great all the time. You know, grew up of LeBron James because of LeBron James' ego and the need to have his son be great for his own praise. You know, probably grew up with LeBron telling him how great. I mean, we already know that LeBron has been bigging his head up just for the simple fact of stuff that LeBron's been saying over the past few years. Bronny's better than half the people in the NBA. Bronny could be on the Olympic team. You know, just all this ridiculous stuff. And now we're seeing what the real deal is. And, you know, based off everything that LeBron James was saying, you know, we would have all been expecting something totally different had we not been able to see him play in college. And again, you know, I've only seen clips of him playing in college. But, you know, I like to always equate these kind of things to a life lesson, especially for the younger generation that may be watching my videos. And here's the lesson in this. Whatever you are doing in life, again, I could name whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's a computer programmer, construction worker, blah, blah, blah. List goes on, right? It is very important to stay grounded and know how good you are. It's very important to actually know how good you are. And what I mean by that is you can't let other people's praise of you cloud your judgment. In other words, people can come up and compliment you, but it is your responsibility to understand that people are going to praise you for being able to do something they can't do. You know, again, if you're athletic and you in the right circumstances look good on the court, people are going to praise you because you're doing something they can't do. However, you should know where you actually are. Based on the studying that you have done of your craft, you know, based on, you know, I won't say your father, but based on other NBA players, based on the players of the past, you know, you should know how good or how not good you are if you are studying the thing that you're supposed to do. So that way people's praise of you won't affect your growth, because you won't start thinking that you're better than you are. Like, you have to be able to take that praise and say, hey, you know what? I appreciate that, because of course you appreciate someone who appreciates what you do, of course. But you have to be able to take that and take a step back and not let it go to your head and say, hey, I know they saying I'm this, but I know where I'm at. and I'm nowhere near ready to be in the NBA. Do not let people pump your head up, because I feel like ultimately this is going to be a bad backfire on so many people. Unfortunately, including Bronny James. This is going to be well, we already see what's happening. I say this, it's already backfiring. And if I hate to say this, but I think the reality of it is I don't think Bronny has what it takes, period. We could talk about him, training and getting through summer league, and then I guess he's going to the G League, and we could talk about all these scenarios, but just watching him, like, there is no scenario in my mind where I think, like, a few years from now, Bronny's gonna be okay. I'm sorry, I don't see that. And I'll say this: I hope for his sake that turns out to be false. I hope for his sake that maybe in a couple, if he even makes it this, that is a lot of assumptions to assume that he's even gonna make it a few years in the NBA. But I hope for his sake that something miraculous happens, and he finds something, some way, somehow, to really put in some serious work. But here's the problem with that: is he hadn't had an example of what that looks like. This is the other thing that we have to talk about, because the other narrative of of how Rob Pelinka got swindled into making this draft is people keep talking about, oh, well, Bronny's had lessons from the best player you could ever have it from. He's had lessons his whole life from LeBron James. Hold your horses. Hold your horses, fanboys. Members of the CFL, hold your horses on that. What could LeBron actually have taught him? I mean, if we're being honest, because like I said, LeBron James has gotten by on his athleticism. But I feel like what we are seeing in Bronny is things that LeBron James would think is acceptable. Unless it starts affecting LeBron James himself. Like, I'm sure LeBron James is probably still singing Bronny's praises and saying, oh, yeah, he just needs a few games to get warmed up. But I guarantee you, if they are on the court together, that's going to change real quick. That's going to change real quick to, Rob, we might have to get rid of my son, man. Well, he's affecting my ability to steal another championship. We might have to get rid of my son. So, yeah, it's all good until it's affecting LeBron James. But I don't know. This is really sad. This is really, really, truly ridiculous. I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, we are living in the Twilight Zone, people. This is some otherworldly kind of things happening right now. And not only in the world, but in the NBA. I guess it's, society is society, but this is crazy. JJ Redick is coaching the Lakers, and Bronny James, the 55th draft pick. I mean, this guy can't hit a three to save his life. I mean, yeah. I mean, if his life depended upon hitting a three. Okay. We gonna hold up here. I'm not sure what else to say. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about Rob Pelinka's face? Do you think people are overreacting to his expression? Maybe he was looking at another player. Do you think people are overreacting to his expression? Do you think he actually drafted Bronny more based on LeBron James' word than he did actually watching Bronny play? Because this is what it's seeming like. It's seeming like Rob Pelinka was having a wake-up call in that moment, like, man, I messed up. Like, how did I think this kid was gonna be good enough? Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day. And I'll see you next time. All right.